And we came up with the idea to sell everything we own, sell the house, sell all the furniture, and we bought a truck and a travel trailer, and we're looking to go travel the US at some point this year.
All right, Andreas, thank you so much for being here. We're going to be talking about mobile homes today, and let's just jump right into it. First of all, thank you so much for being here. It's so cool to see you.
Thanks for having me, John. This is great. I hope I have some good information for somebody else out there.
Are you kidding? Oh yeah, I believe that you do. Well, with that said, let's jump into this. This is something I don't really ask folks. This first question, and it's you've there's a book, Start with the Why, Start with Your Why. What's your why? I mean, you've done so much in a short period of time. Yeah, like what drives you every day for to do this? What's your why?
Right. So the why originally became financially be free, me with my wife. Then last year we had a baby, so then that became a little bit stronger probably. But even within financial freedom, you still need to have a why because let's say we have all the money we need and we don't have to go to work today. What am I going to do with that time? So we wanted to emphasize spending time together as a family and then travel. And so that was kind of our why. And then that was probably like a couple of years ago. That's kind of how we started. And then in January of this year, our why just really got stronger because we were thinking, okay, what are we going to do once we are financially free? Because this mobile home stuff works. So it's just a matter of time and just a few more mobile homes until we are financially free. It's very real now. So then we started thinking we need to do something. And we came up with the idea to sell everything we own, sell the house, sell all the furniture, and we bought a truck and a travel trailer, and we're looking to go travel the US at some point this year once we get comfortable enough with the mobile homes that we have. So then our why became very, very strong because we really want to take off on this trip and go travel and go have a good time together. So that's our why right now.
So your why has evolved.
Yes, absolutely. At the beginning, I had no clue exactly. I thought I wanted to do real estate, something in real estate, and that's kind of how we pursued things. And we learned a lot about it. We met different people. I came across your podcast long time ago. It's been like over 3 years now. So real estate was always my interest. And I knew I wanted to make a bunch of money, but I didn't know how much money or by when. It was very, just very loose terms.
Oh my God. You are doing, you're not just, I love the fact that, time is of the essence. We're all only getting older and you're not just talking about it. Like you're taking your wife and your child and your puppy on the road. Yeah. Like that's so cool. That's what everybody wants. I just love that you're doing it. Like I don't even do it. Like you're actually doing it.
Right.
And traveling. Oh, I love that. That's so cool. I plan on living vicariously through you on this trip.
Sounds good. We will post some videos and we'll definitely share that with you.
Good. You're going to be like, why is John calling me so much?
Yeah, exactly.
Can you talk a little bit about your nationality? If you were born here or if this is your primary language, if that was a positive or negative?
So I was born in Argentina. I came to the U.S. when I was 16. And I came here for high school, and then I ended up staying for college, even though that wasn't the plan. I was doing track and field, got a scholarship, so everything kind of worked out really nicely. I ended up staying here for school. I absolutely loved the U.S. from the very first day. It just felt like a movie to be here. It was just, everything was so nice.
Did you have any real estate experience prior to the mobile homes?
Yeah, a little bit. I would say pretty much right out of college, I knew I wanted to do something in real estate eventually. I was working as a project manager for a drywall company, big commercial company, and I had my construction management bachelor's degree. And so that kind of fit in right away. And I did that for 3 years. And then I knew I wanted to do more residential real estate after I had already done quite a bit of research. And I also had purchased my first rental property, which was a small condo. And things were going pretty well at that point, but I wanted to get more into the residential side instead of commercial. And a random job opportunity came up through LinkedIn about flipping houses for a large company. And it sounded a little weird at first. I didn't know the company. I couldn't find much about the company, but I decided to go for it because I was thinking I needed to really go take a little bit more risk. I was taking I was taking a payment cut on my salary, but I was very eager to learn how to flip homes. And so after almost 4 years at the drywall company, I started flipping houses for almost 2 years. And that's the job that I just recently quit because I want to dedicate full time to mobile homes.
When you were working for this company, were you mainly doing one aspect of the investing?
No, I did everything. We bought everything at the foreclosure auction. So I would go appraise the homes in the morning, put a value to them, figure out how much rehab we had to do, go buy the property, then secure the property, trash it out, or deal with if there were occupants, I would have to run the evictions or some type of negotiation there, and then take care of all the rehab. So contract some generals or different subs, and then even put the house for sale. Really, I got my real estate license. I would add all the listing in all the information for the listing online, have the pictures taken, stage the home myself. I mean, it was very involved, start to end. And we had many of these at the same time going. So I actually made a count right before I left a few weeks back. I ended up flipping 82 houses in less than 2 years. So that was a lot of learning, and it was amazing. Really, really good time.
That's incredibly amazing. Do you have any, could you share with the people listening? Like, I mean, if you're coming into real estate, that is a phenomenal way to do it. I mean, you're learning on
Yeah.
somebody else's dime. You're being taught by people that, and you were there for, you said 4 years?
At this job, 2 years. At
Okay.
the flipping homes, 2 years.
Okay. How did you, and you said you just were LinkedIn, you were just putting out?
Yeah, you get the random LinkedIn things, and I never paid attention to them because it was always for to work for other drywall companies. And something on the formula of LinkedIn put that I'm a project manager. So this recruiter back in LA for this company sent like a blast email to all project managers, and I got the email, and it was a risk. It really felt like a big risk at the time because I knew I was going to make less money. I had no idea if I was going to like it. I had no idea about the company. I couldn't find much online at all. They were a fast, small growing company. It's now pretty huge.
Because of
But at the
you.
time, at the time I couldn't find anything. So it truly felt like a massive risk to leave my comfort zone and go do this. And even though I made slightly less money, the knowledge is just so valuable. And I use that now every day for mobile homes.
You have experience with rehabs, with contracting. Have you been taken advantage of by any handyman, or did you feel more confident to, this is how I deal with handy people? And
Right. And so that's something I keep fighting myself against because I'm very inclined to do everything myself,
oh,
which can save me a lot of money, but my time is very valuable too. So I get caught up in these projects and I'm doing all the work myself instead of getting help. So yeah, I know how to do almost everything really on the rehab, but if I do everything myself, it'd take me way too long. So I did started helping myself by hiring some handymen
good.
and bringing them along with me. So maybe I'll bring one or two guys to help me out, and then we're getting a lot done really quickly. So I think that's been working the best right now. I don't stay at the project all day long or all every day, but I make sure to keep an eye and really keep a close eye on the new guys that I'm using to make sure they know what they're doing and they're not messing things up.
Good. How did you find them, and then how did you properly vet them so that they were?
Well, so I guess I didn't answer your other question about my language. My first language is Spanish. So what I've been good at doing, I go to Home Depot and I talk to a couple of guys that are waiting in the parking lot to do some work. And for the most part, they're hard workers, and the technical education that they may have is very different. Some of them are maybe better just for landscaping or trash outs. Some people can do drywall work and electrical. So it really depends. But I would say I probably used 6 or 7 guys. And then there was one guy that actually I keep calling back and forth because he has his own tools, he has a car, and he's able to do quite a bit of work without me being there. Then my best handyman, it was really an accident. I just happened to buy a mobile home. He lived next door, and we started talking. He told me he used to paint a long time ago, and now he's old and retired and wanted to keep busy. So I started giving him work, and he's been really good. He's very knowledgeable about electrical and plumbing on mobile homes because he's lived in mobile homes for a long time. So he's been teaching me a lot of stuff, and I trust him completely to just leave him there all day getting things done. So
Excellent. And no reason not to. You know where he lives. I mean, if any. If you
yeah, exactly. And he became my security guard, everything, because he would call me, hey, there's somebody looking. Did you have somebody come? I'm like, oh yeah, that's the flooring guy. Don't, it's fine. Let him don't worry about it. But it's great to have somebody like that. You know that he's actually cares for my property and he lives next door. So it takes me about 40 minutes to get there. So it really is nice to have somebody keep an eye on it.
How many different parks are you involved with?
I actually took a note because I knew that question was coming. So I've got 5 parks right now, 2 of them heavily, and then the other 3 just 1 or 2 on each one of those.
Now, changing topics a little bit. So you're heavily involved in mobile homes now, going to travel the country. Was there at any point in the beginning of this business that your wife was really questioning you, really doubting you, like, why are you getting us involved in mobile homes? And then if so, like, how did that work itself out?
Um, the short answer is no. I like to think that she trusts me, and I think I did a decent job explaining the math and the numbers. And I would say that anybody that knows very, very basic math knows that these mobile home numbers are incredible. But the idea of mobile homes started about 3.5 or maybe 4 years ago. And I was still in my drywall company working there. And I came up across your podcast. I pretty much watched everything you had on YouTube available. I went through your entire website and I said, okay, I'm going to do it. And I went and started looking at mobile homes. But the problem became my job was a very strict office hours, and it made it really difficult. But at that point, I had already explained to Chelsea what I was trying to do, the kind of profits we could expect. And then what happened, we ended up buying a rental. We flipped that condo and we started renting it out. So we got sidetracked, and then we started thinking, okay, let's get more rentals. Let's just buy more condos or whatever we can. And then much later, we came across some friends here, and they were telling us about mobile homes, and it kind of brought it all back to me. I'm like, why haven't I thought again of this? Now that I'm working flipping houses, I have more flexibility, I have more knowledge, I have more contacts. I mean, kind of everything fell in line there. So that's when we really started, and we signed up with you, and we started to get really serious about it. But from the very beginning was very helpful. She wanted to help me as much as she could. She helped me really create that first database, and then we drove together almost all of these parks. And so she would write notes while I would drive, and we would find the for sale signs and all that stuff. And then she got pregnant, so the driving became really difficult. She got very seasick in the car, and mostly in the mobile home parks with the big speed bumps and all that. So then I kind of just started taking it on myself, and she had to worry about staying healthy and rest at home.
And the rest is history. You're
Exactly.
Well, let's jump into some of these deals, and just to talk about something good, talk about something negative. I'm
Okay.
sure I'm sure everything isn't roses. There must be some
Yeah.
problems every now and
Yeah.
then. Do your
It started.
please?
It started very slow. I was being very cautious on my offers when we were going over them with you. So I was trying to remember exactly, looking at my notes. I would say I looked at 15 homes before we bought the first one. And the odd thing about it is that the first deal and the second deal were both purchased through the balloon payments offers that you teach. So the third offer, which to me is always sounds like the least attractive, but people see things in a different way. So pretty much what I ended up doing, I gave them a little bit of money when we closed, and now I was going to wait 3 years until we give them a large sum of money. But those were the first two deals. And then since then, it's got a lot better. I don't need to see 15 homes to buy one. I think two things changed. I do a better job in the phone, so I don't waste my time driving, going somewhere that I know doesn't work. And at the same time, I do think I have started offering more money than what I used to. I do think it was good, though, at the time to offer little money because everything was still very new to me. It would be great to just be very cautious and get a really good feel for it. So I don't regret that at all. But I do feel more confident now, and I'm able to offer a little bit more money than I used to.
Obviously, where you are right now speaks for itself, and you wouldn't have got here if it wasn't for all the hard work. And those first two deals, I like how they set a very high bar. And for the folks
Yes.
listening, one of the offers that we may typically make is $0 down, very little down to the seller, and then a big one-time payment in a number of 1, 2, 3, 4 years. And
Right.
you're right, Andreas. It always, me too. Whenever I hear back from a seller that's the offer they want to take, in the back of my mind, I'm very like that's
Yeah.
okay. It's always
Yes.
surprising, even to this day. So, but they do. They
Yeah.
want a
Well,
higher price. They trust you.
right.
Money isn't. Let me ask you: were those two homes vacant already?
No, they were still living in there. And the way it worked is I contacted the first seller, and then she talked to her neighbor, and she also wanted to sell. So we ended up buying those two homes the same day, pretty much, and with the same type of payment method. So it was very odd that after it's crazy. I put on all this work for a few months, and then all of a sudden I buy two in the same day. But it's not very odd because then it happened over and over again. I've continued to have that kind of that movement through my purchases and also when I sell. It looks like they all like to combine at the same time and make my days very hectic. But I'm glad that it works at least.
I've said a number of times, and I've heard this said to me in this mobile home business: when it rains, it pours. Like in
Yes, absolutely.
sort of in good ways and in bad ways. But you're right; it can be
Yeah.
slow for a while, and then all of a sudden,
But to really answer your question there about the bad experiences, or
oh yes,
I've been I've been lucky or maybe risk adverse. I haven't really come across anything terrible. I would say maybe one of the worst things I've come across. It's one of my projects. Actually, the last one I sold. It took a lot of rehab. It was a lot more than I anticipated. Maybe not money wise, but time wise. I worked there pretty much, I would say, for about 2 weeks on and off because I still had my job at the time. And I was always there with the handyman as well, helping me out. And it was just a lot of work. We kept finding things wrong with the house, like electrical and plumbing. And gas too. I mean, I got to do everything in that house. And then in the end, the buyer moved in and it was all done. And I had put the carpet the day before, and she was setting up the internet. And she said she was sitting in her laptop in the living room, and she got bit by a bed bug. And I'm like, that's impossible. I've been at that house for 2 months. I crawled in the underneath the home. I've opened up the ceiling. I've done all sorts of work, and I never seen a bed bug or got bit by a bed bug. But I did a bunch of research, and it did seem that there seemed to be some bed bug activity. I called two companies that came out, and they said that there was a large colony in there, so this wasn't something new. And she hadn't moved in any furniture yet, so I didn't. It's not that I wasn't believing her. I was just really amazed at how this had happened. I never had any experiences before with bed bugs. But the two companies agreed that there was a large colony in there, and they were probably dormant, or I don't know, they call them hibernating or something like that, because there were no people living in the house. But now that the carpet was there and people were starting to move around, they were coming out. So I did have to spend $1,000 to have a bed bug treatment done, and they're gonna put some treatment for the next year with a full warranty for that year. So that deal wasn't great, and I put a lot of time into it, and then I still have to put in $1,000 at the very end. That hurts. But in the end, I gotta look it up. Let's see. So my worst deal so far, and this is how bad mobile homes get, which is kind of ridiculous. I made 200% cash and cash return, or that's what I'm looking to make. So even on my worst deal, I'm doubling my money. So I was all in for $8,000, and after the 70 months are done, we're looking to make 18,000. So it truly, I truly can't say it's a bad deal.
What will you do differently next time to avoid some of that?
Next time, a place with that big of a rehab, I probably pass on.
Really?
There was just the kitchen was not functional. It was just cabinets lay there, but nothing was secured. All the flooring was torn up. There was a lot of ceiling issues too. So next time I see something with that big of a rehab, I probably pass on it and just move on to the easier stuff.
How many bedrooms are in that home, and then what did you buy it for? Because you said 8,000 in it. What was the purchase price?
So purchase price was $3,500. It's a double wide with 3 bedrooms. Yeah, 3 bedrooms, all large bedrooms. And it had a massive kitchen. It was just too big for this place. What the previous owner had done, he bought some used cabinets from probably a very large home, and he set them in place throughout the kitchen and dining room. So there were about 20 something cabinets all over the place. It was just too big. So I reduced that amount. I threw away half of them. I put countertops because they didn't have any countertops, and kind of attach everything, put a sink. We finished everything up, made the bedrooms nice. Did quite a bit of work in the bathrooms too, because the previous owner had started a lot of work but finished none of the work. So everything was half put together.
Why do you think that is?
I mean, I think that's just people either watching TV and thinking they can do it, or I mean, I doubt he watched some YouTube videos because he probably could have done it. It's not impossible, but I think he maybe tackled too many projects at the same time because both bathrooms, the kitchen, and even outside, there were things going on. I learned in my personal experience that when I'm doing a project on my own house, I like to get one thing started, finished, and then move over to the next project. So he had started all these projects throughout the home and made a mess out of it. Okay, so in this case, unfortunately, it's my worst deal when I look at it as far as even though cash and cash return, I'm still at 200%. The amount of time it's going to take me to recoup that money, we're looking at 21 months.
Oh, wow.
And that's by far the longest. Everything else I've done so far, I make sure to hit the 12-month mark at the most, and I've been able to do that. But this home, it just became too much of a problem, and it's going to take me quite a bit longer to make it up.
We're so funny in this business because that's obviously a good deal. You know, it's gonna make you money, but it's just the worst deal. So it's like, we'll
right,
try not
exactly.
to do those.
Exactly.
But you do such a good job. I mean, we keep in communication fairly regularly, and you do a great job at doing proper due diligence. Do you have when you travel? When you're going to be taking your across the country road trip for the next 6 months or a year, do you plan on you're going to have your properties that are cash flowing you?
Correct.
Are you going to be purchasing more on the road? You obviously built the relationships up with your current managers here where you live. Are you going to be buying homes locally, nationwide? Just take a break?
So the plan is to take a break completely. So I call it a mini retirement or something like that. So the plan is to take it off completely. One of the big things would be the internet would be a problem. We are thinking to go to a lot of the national parks and maybe the more secluded areas. So we do foresee having a lot of issues trying to keep in communication if we had to. So the plan is to be totally free. Of course, some problems may come up with some of my current buyers. That's probably the biggest unknown of this adventure, how things are going to go once we leave town, and if people start defaulting on payments, if it's worth me flying back, or if it's worth having somebody else in town take care for me. So we'll see how that part goes. That's the scariest part, I guess, of my adventure right now and having this mobile home business. But I do feel fairly confident with most of the buyers that they're gonna keep paying in the regular intervals like they are right now. Maybe there's a couple that I'm a little questionable about, so we'll see how those go.
Yeah, how would you describe your buyers? And I guess before you describe them, most of your homes that you've sold, they've been for payments, or they've been some for cash, some for payments, or
So far we've sold a total of nine. The last one of the last ones was a cash deal. It was mostly to try it out and see what would happen, and it worked really well. It was sold very quickly, um, and it was a home that we bought, and we did nothing to it. It was in very good shape, so that was nice. The other eight are on payments, and out of the eight, there's two that worry me a little bit. They've been able to pay, and they pay late sometimes, of course, with the late fees, but I'm thinking I may have problems in the future with them.
do you think that you're improving when it comes to vetting and pre-screening your tenant buyers? And is there any advice that you'd give to people, maybe that you've been fooled before? Is there any advice that you'd give to somebody that's getting started with regards to, putting the right person in your home? Because you can do everything right. You buy the home right. You fix it up the correct way. You're selling it for the proper payments, and it's attractive. But you put the wrong
Yeah,
person in there, and it's a nightmare, or it's a pain. And
right.
so and how are you? Have you improved? And then how have you made those improvements?
So I would say that for a newbie, the biggest deal would be not to rush it, just like you said. Find the right buyer, not the first person that shows up with money, because that's what I did. I waited until the first person with money showed up, and they're the ones that are giving me trouble now. I think my marketing at the time wasn't great, so I wasn't getting that many buyers to come to me. So I waited a long time. It took me over 2 months to sell my first two homes. Now I do it in 2 days. So the process has improved significantly. But yeah, I would say don't go for the first people that showed up with money because they had the money and they bought the home, which was a huge relief. And I felt that I had done it. I felt like a mobile home investor. I felt good. I felt successful. But that was many months ago. And now they worry me. Now I'm worried about those two people. So I would say take your time and make sure, yeah, you meet the people, just have a regular conversation, see how they talk. You can get a lot of them just talking in person. So I would definitely suggest meeting in person instead of just doing everything over the phone or Facebook Messenger.
You meet folks at the home and you show all the properties yourself?
I don't show them myself because yeah, that would take a lot of time. Lately, lots of people are looking for homes, so I leave the lockbox. I ask for a driver's license, and then I send them the code. After that is when we meet, or after they get park approved, that's when we meet, and we go over the final numbers and the contract. But before we sign and before I take any money, I still reserve myself the right to say no. I haven't had to say no at that point yet, but I always feel prepared to say no if I meet them and I just get a bad feeling about it.
So important. So if anything, you're like a goalie, keeping folks that should not be through your home, through your home, especially moving in, but even walking through. How many
Yeah.
people, and you're getting better and better now talking to people before they go to your properties, how many people now in your business have to walk through a property before they say, I want it, or here's what I can pay, or I'm going to go get approved?
Right. So my number breakdown typically lately has been when I post the house, in the first 24 to 48 hours, I probably get 100 to 150 messages. Some of them are not very good. They're just asking if it's available, and I say yes, and then they never respond again. But I would say a good 20 to 50, somewhere in there. Those are the ones that are interested, and they're asking better questions, and they're asking if there's a fence, if their dog is allowed, those kind of things. And out of that 20 to 50 group, I would say about 1 to 10 of them may go walk the place. and one of those first 10 in the first 2 days ends up buying the home. That's how quickly it's been going lately.
Let's talk about one of these deals. I know actually just recently you purchased a home. Would you mind talking about that one and what your plans are for it?
Yeah, so the last two I bought were straight from the park. Um, I went. The park manager knows me now. I already done deals there, and sorry about that. The 7-month-old is losing his mind out there. um, but yeah, the last two deals were done from straight from the park. They both needed quite a bit of work. One of them was just full of trash. But the good thing is that once we took the trash out, the original 1985 wood paneling and wall covering, it's in amazing shape. So that home needs very little work inside. We are painting the exterior of both homes, and they should be ready pretty much by this weekend. We're looking to have those two done, and yeah, those homes pretty straightforward. One of them I bought it for 5,000. It's original single wide, but it has a really well done addition that makes it look like a double wide, and it has a total of 4 bedrooms. It's very long, 4 bedrooms, all good size, large kitchen, and a very large living room. So it's a really nice home, and I think it will sell really quickly. We did some new carpet in the bedrooms. We left the vinyl flooring in the living areas, and then some miscellaneous plumbing and electrical stuff. Then the smaller home, we bought that for $3,500. It was the one full of trash, and on that one we did again full flooring on this one, all new vinyl along with carpet in the bedrooms. It's a 2 bedroom, 2 bath, and then we're painting the exterior, and it looks so much better already. And I think that home too is going to go very quickly, just because it looks very well, very good, very clean, and that's something I make sure to. I have a good cleaner on my contacts, and she will come and do a deep clean. And a deep clean, I mean, she will scrub every square inch of the wall with a microfiber rug, and the walls look pristine. I mean, she's even cleaned homes that were painted a long time ago, and just a nice swipe of a rug makes the paint look so much better. And so she's been doing all the work on my homes for final cleans, and it makes it look so much better.
You mentioned before some homes you're getting from sellers, of course, naturally. Some homes you're getting from directly from the parks, the park managers.
Yes.
What benefits do you bring to the park? Why does the park manager want to give the home to you? Granted, you're paying for it, but versus somebody else or doing something themselves with it.
So these two parks that I'm heavily in, uh, they don't like the business of flipping their own homes. They really like to collect their lot rents, and that's a big difference. That I've talked to other parks, and I ask them, and they tell me, oh, we like to fix up our own home. So really, I don't waste my time, and I don't even go to those parks anymore, because I truly think that I'm never going to get a house there. So I go to these other places where the park managers are looking for help. They want to collect lot rents, and they have quite a few mobile homes that are abandoned, some of them in complete terrible shape that they've offered me for free, and I completely passed on them. And then there's some other homes that are older, and they are looking for somebody to come in and put some money into them, make them look good, bring them up to standards, and then they get to collect their lot rent. That's all they want to do. So it's been working out. Uh, I do think that they do still keep the newer homes. They do like to keep for themselves, but I would say the houses on the 70s and 80s, they've been offering those to me, and really depends then how much I want to fix them up. But one of the deals I've done from a park manager turned out great. They sold me the house for $3,000. It was a 1971 3 bedroom with a tiny third bedroom, and I put very little work into it. I put new carpet in the 3 bedrooms, and then very minor electrical stuff like putting faceplates on the switches and outlets, and one window that was broken. And then it was sold right away for monthly payments. And so that became a really good deal. And I think the reason on that one is just the park looked at it like too old of a home. Even though it's on okay shape, it was just too old for what they wanted to do. So I came in, added value to them. They started collecting lot rent right away. and that just helped build a relationship.
Good.
I'm gonna turn the fan on really quick.
Oh,
Sorry, it's
sure.
getting hot.
Da, da, da.
I don't think the microphone will pick it up because it's very directional
No,
microphone, so I think it should be fine.
I just see your the reflection now.
Okay.
No big deal at all.
Okay.
Like that little party.
Okay.
You mentioned about the part-time work versus full-time work. You have family life. You have your full-time job at the time. You have mobile home investing. Did you notice that one of those was suffering? And now that you're doing mobile homes full-time, is it like you have too much time, or is there stuff to do all the time?
Yeah, so that's definitely tricky, and I think that happens in any job, in any family, in any situation. When you really want to succeed at something, you have to put the time, and you either have to start sleeping less or sacrificing something. So I have, I guess, struggled with that. Really, at the beginning, when we didn't have the baby yet or anything, things were a little easier. So I could go take off for longer, come back home later at night. So I would work my full day shift, then go do mobile home stuff at night, and then on the weekends as well. I would take both days, Saturday and Sunday, to work full time on the mobile homes. And so it was a lot of sacrifice. And I would say I could have sacrificed a lot more, but that's what I felt comfortable with. That's what we talk kind of with my wife to keep things balanced and not chaotic. Um, I definitely would have liked to put more time, but I did feel the security of having my job at the time was worth it. Once I became more confident with the mobile homes, then I knew that my job was gonna have to go away because it was really stopping me from progressing faster. Um, and then what happened last October is we had our baby. It kind of stopped completely, and I planned to do that. I thought it would be a good time to probably just really take the mobile homes down to zero. And so I had the last two done right before then. We got both of them sold, and we kind of stopped all marketing and all activity. And of course, we didn't get any deals. That's kind of how it works. So then it took me really until January of this year to really pick it back up. So I took a pretty good break and then started right away in January. But when I started already, I still had the same contacts. Park managers remembered me. So I was able to get it started a lot faster. It wasn't started from scratch like I did before. But today, I still think there's always have to be a constant balance. Now that I don't have a boss really telling me what to do, I got to come up with my own schedule and push myself to get things done. Right now we have 3 rehabs. They could all 3 be done by the weekend, and really it's just a matter of me if I'm going to make that happen or not. I could easily have all 3 rehabs for another month before I can finish them. So I'm really pushing myself at this point to still sacrifice a little bit of the time at home because we have our why, that it's to go travel and spend time together later. So we're trying to really sacrifice a little bit of that right now so I can go spend more time doing the mobile homes. And then I come back later at night and try to spend some time here together as a family. And then the big change I would say is the weekends. The weekends I do try to spend a little more time at home. Before I was never home because that was my best day to go do mobile home stuff. So it's changing and it will keep changing. We're looking to start getting the house ready for sale. So we got quite a bit of work to do in here as well. So at some point I need to dedicate some of that time accordingly.
Do you see yourself evolving with mobile homes? Do you want to stay with mobile homes in parks? Do you want to add mobiles on land? Buy a park for yourself? Say goodbye to everything and move back to Argentina? I mean, what is what's your...
I would say the long-term plan is to keep doing mobile homes after this mini retirement. Keep doing mobile homes. I haven't found a great interest on mobile homes in land yet. So I feel good with the mobile homes in parks for now, but I do think that the very long-term plan is to go for a mobile home park. My original thought when I was doing rentals was to have these condos and then eventually cash them out and go for an apartment complex. So now I think I'm putting a similar idea into the mobile homes. I want to have quite a few mobile homes and then either save enough cash or sell all those notes and then try to go for a mobile home park.
Nice. I think we both know, and we've touched on this, that I mean, after you come back from this trip, who knows? I mean, you could have so many cool epiphanies or ideas or thoughts, and I mean, yeah,
Right.
who knows what will change. But that's the fact is that you're, as a person, you do what you say you're going to do. You're not afraid to try new things, or if you are afraid because you're a normal human being, you just push through that. So I mean,
Yes.
anything you set your mind to, I mean, I'm gonna love. I want to hear. I hope we always can, stay in. We're always talking. Let me ask
Absolutely.
you something personal, if you don't mind. I'm curious about one of your proudest moments, and I'm also curious about something that you need to improve on. Like, you've done a lot of improving, but what's something that you still feel like I got to get better with that?
Um, Proudest moment. Um, I would have to go with going back to that story about the handyman special that I almost got myself in trouble with. The guy called me the first time, and I told him I don't that home is too small. I understand, but I have another home. He went to look at it, and his first response was a little negative. He thought there were too many insects inside the house, and his wife didn't like that. And then there was quite a bit of smell. It was dogs and cats. So I wasn't ready to let him go and just lose the deal, lose the opportunity to sell it as is. So I told him I would sign him up for a 1 year program of some type of exterminator and then get the place treated right away and then get him a 1 year service to for him to be worry free. And then at the same time, I did remove the carpet of that home and I trashed it all out and then I vacuumed the whole place to make sure it was nice and clean. And I think I did send the cleaners through that house too, and it made a big difference too. So I got that done in a matter of a couple of days. I called the exterminator. I went myself. I got myself a couple of helpers. We took all the nasty carpet out, and I actually had them haul it off for me for a few dollars. And then I called the cleaner, and then he came back to the home, and and he was now in a much better place mentally, and he was really taking the idea that it was going to work. So we talked a little bit more about the terms. I gave him a further incentive, a little more attractive terms at the time, and he ended up going for it. So really, it went from about four phone calls that we had together. From the first call, that was hopeful. He was about to buy it. He told me, "Yeah, I'll go check it out, and I may buy it." So I was very hopeful. And then the second call was very negative because he found the roaches and he wasn't a huge fan of the smell. So really, it was kind of negative, and I was really down on that, on the idea. And then I'm thinking, okay, I got to try something. So I felt really good that I called him up again and I told him I just became I don't know, a little bit of a salesman there, even though I didn't have much experience. And I told him, okay, I'll get the roaches out of there. I'll get the carpet out of there. I'll clean it for you. And I was just trying to really get the guy to believe in me. And he did. He ended up buying the house, and he's been very happy. He keeps in touch with me. He's fixing it up himself just the way he wants it. So I was proud of that moment because I really went from having a deal, not having a deal, to having it again and being done.
And
So,
and it was on you. You were the glue that kept that deal together. I mean, you.
yeah, I like to think that, and I wish I would have found maybe a better example that didn't involve so much me, but uh, I do really feel proud of that because that could have easily been gone, and I would have had to come up with a different solution for that home. So I do keep that in mind.
And the something that you're looking to like improve about yourself still, like as an investor, like this would make me a better investor if I was more or less.
Yes. So organized. I'm sitting in my office right now, and I've got a lot of paperwork that really should be filed somewhere. uh, because I don't have that many homes yet, I still know where it is, but it's at the rate we keep growing, this system doesn't work. So I am looking to get better about that, and also a to-do list. Before, when I had my job, I was very organized with my job, and I had a list every day of what I needed to do. My emails were very organized, everything, because I had been doing it for so long, and I got very good at it. Now that I'm doing this for myself, I had to, buy a new laptop. I don't have the same software I used to have. So I do need to get adjusted and build my systems around what I have now, and really get a daily to-do list and a weekly to-do list, because right now I'm driving around and I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta go to Home Depot, and oh yeah, I gotta pay the lot rent for that. And so it hasn't been great, and I don't feel very efficient right now with my time.
Is there something that you're lacking from me, or or is it just something that you haven't put? You know what you have to do. You just haven't put it on, haven't put the time frame on
Now,
it.
yeah, this is all on me. I tell you the truth, John. Every time I've called or emailed or texted, you got back to me right away,
Of course.
and that's been so helpful. It's really, I've been to the point that I'm about to sign paperwork, and I wasn't sure at the beginning what to do or how to sign it, and I give you a call and you answered me right away. So no, I can say that's all on me, and it's just my new phase now that I don't have my full-time job, and now this is my full-time job. I have to take the time to really build that system. But all I can say about your program and your availability is that it's been great and extremely helpful.
That means more than you know, and I'm not going anywhere. But you're the real deal. I mean, you're what you asked me. It's great that you have all those questions. It means you're doing stuff and you're
Yeah.
taking action. And uh, any good books that you'd recommend?
So many. So I used to drive a lot with my old job. I had a company Prius. I used to put about 200 miles a day, and I listened to a lot of audiobooks. And I would say one of the last few books that I listened to that is really helping me, and I'm listening to it again because it's just so good. It's Never Split the Difference. It's a sales book. I don't remember his name, unfortunately, but it's a fairly big book. It did come on my Audible recommendations quite a few times.
I love when I'm listening to an audiobook or reading a book and I can think of, oh, how am I going to like put that into my business? How am I going to apply
Yes.
that? And for that particular book, you're right. I have it on my Audible. Uh, I remember one thing that he mentioned. I forget his name as well, but Chris something maybe. Eh,
Oh yeah, yeah. Chris Voss. Chris
Voss.
Voss.
And one thing he said is don't, like the title, don't split the difference, because there's a better alternative usually. Instead of saying, hey, well, why don't we just meet in the middle with price? You
Right.
come down a little bit, I'll go up a little bit. There's something usually better. Like, let's keep the price where it's at, but let me give you more value. Or
Yeah.
and that was just made a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Great book.
And then I do have one more recommendation, and this is really the book that got me in the idea about taking a mini retirement and traveling. But the book is fairly new. It's called Set for Life,
Oh,
and it's by one of the guys on Bigger Pockets, and I can't remember. I think it's Alex. I should have taken a note of it.
huh.
But yes, Set for Life, an amazing book. I feel that every student in high school should read this book because it truly gives you a real sense of just personal finance, and it talks a lot about real estate, but really it's just general personal finance, and I think that's what everybody needs a little bit more of. And really that got me thinking a lot about my personal finances, my personal standards, what I'm striving for. Do I want to make $100,000 a year or $1 million a year? It really got things going in my brain. And then finally I came up with the idea that, okay, we've done already quite a bit on our careers, on our personal finances and savings, and we're ready to do something bigger. It really helped me to quit my old job and really focus on my mobile homes, and also to pull the trigger on an adventure like what we're doing, selling everything and going to travel. So really, really cool book.
Thank you so much for being on today. Really, I
Of
know this is
course.
the beginning and we're sort of at like the ground floor of your business going up. I hope that we're always talking and might know that my
Yes.
phone's always on for you, not going anywhere.